Cameras. They seem to be everywhere these days, and today I'm going to talk about this one, the Reolink Video Doorbell. This particular model is special, but I'll get to that later. First, I need to cover a couple things in regards to this review and how I approach it. Reolink sent me this camera, although they were initially going to send me a different one, but it was out of stock. They also sent me a couple accessories that I'll talk about, and they gave me some copy they wanted me to cover. Rather than disguising their copy as obviously disingenuous dialogue, I'll treat you with the respect you deserve and simply tell you what they wanted you to hear and let it stand on its own merits or absence thereof. I did not sign any agreements with Reolink, nor was I paid in any other way other than free product. That's not to say I couldn't have an agreement with them down the road, but I will always disclose every detail and I will never lie to you. If there is something bad about a product I'm reviewing, I'm going to tell you regardless of any agreement because I would never enter into any agreement that would compromise my integrity or trustworthiness to begin with. Consumer product reviews are an integral part of a healthy business economy. They highlight the worthy and condemn the bad apples to infamy or obscurity. There's one last relevant view I have that you may feel differently about. Regular viewers will know that I do not like cloud services in general, let alone surveillance-related services on the cloud. But it is up to the individual to assess their level of risk and level of risk tolerance. That being said, I don't mind a device which is capable of cloud service but not dependent on one, and I can even tolerate a device that requires cloud service for setup and then lets you use it offline. So, let's get to the video doorbell. I like being able to see when a package is dropped off or when an expected guest has arrived and that sort of thing, which is why I already had a Reolink video doorbell before they sent me this one. Now, they were originally going to send me a floodlight, and I was actually pretty stoked about that, but instead, due to the stock issue I mentioned earlier, they sent me this. When I set up my first Reolink doorbell, it's set up like any other Reolink I'd used before. You connect an Ethernet cable from the NVR to the camera, and the NVR sets the camera up. My driveway camera, I scanned a QR code in the app and it connected that way, so when I didn't find an Ethernet port on the back of this, I assumed it worked the same way. That wasn't wrong, but I had missed a critical feature of this doorbell. The battery. Somehow. When I realized it was chargeable and you could just put it anywhere, my enthusiasm genuinely shot up. I started hatching plans, which I'll talk about a bit later when I talk about another feature that absolutely excited me, even though every camera should have it. Anyway, taking an initial look, this is a beefy device. It's chunky, it's heavy, it's definitely not the most discreet thing in the world, but that's okay. It's a doorbell, and it's a camera. You want people to face it, look at it, and see the button. I also like the larger battery mass-induced volume increase for other reasons relating to the things I'm going to talk about later, so I'll talk about them later. For any size, it's an attractive device in my opinion. I like the simplicity of design. I like the attention draw to the camera aesthetically as well as functionally, and I like the massive button. So, it's a good-looking and physically substantial device. Reolink sent me 2 accessories for the doorbell. One is the chime. You can pair multiple chimes to the main device, which I'll demonstrate in a bit, and they chime when the button is pressed. You know, doorbell stuff. The other thing they sent was an SD card, so that was pretty nifty. In the box with the device, you'll find the user manual, wire leads, more wire leads, screws and wall dogs, an angled wedge, and the receiver for the device itself. When mounted, there's a small hole on top to release the doorbell from the mount for charging. Now, because I already have a Reolink NVR, I already have the Reolink app. You can watch your cameras with the app without cloud if you're on the same local network. I'm going to power on the device by pressing and holding the power button on the back. You can see there are terminals on the back. These would be used if you wanted to power the device from the doorbell transformer. I'm not doing that. When it powers on, the device will momentarily play a xylophone at you, welcome you, then begin a multilingual loop instructing you to use the app to set up the camera.
Reolink. Bitte Reolink-App installieren und den QR-Code.
In the app, just tap the plus, then scan the QR code on the back of the camera. Now it will ask you to select the network you want it to use. It will now instruct you to remove the protective film that I've already removed. I did forget this bit, so I'll insert the SD card in the back under the rubber cover next to the USB-C charging port. I did spend an embarrassing amount of time wrestling with the cellophane on the back of the blister-packed SD card. Having installed the SD card, I click I got it. If the button is flashing white, you can press Next. It'll ask for location access, then ask for your Wi-Fi, which I'm not showing because I wanted this on one of my useful networks. Hit Next, and if you're on a Samsung, be pestered. Now the app has generated a QR code with the network information that the doorbell can read. And so can anyone else who can take a picture of this QR code, so be aware of that. After scanning, there's a sickly beep. I check the thing and hit Next. The camera says it's trying to connect, so I check the circle and hit Next. The app will look for the camera, then it will ask you to set a password for it. I do that using the most advanced visual blocking technology possible. Then it asks me to name the device. I do that and then hit Next. Now it asks if I want to format the SD card. I don't know that it's actually necessary, but it doesn't hurt. It gives you some pointers. Hit Next. Then it offers you a warranty if you give it your email address. I skip this. And that's it for setup. One more Next, and now it will walk you through physical mounting. I'm not doing that, so I'll cruise through the guide here. Now we're ready for that chime pairing I mentioned earlier. I have one of those, so I'll leave it checked and hit Next. It instructs me to plug the chime in. So, I do that. It beeps twice, then I go back to the app and hit Next. Now it tells me to long press the settings button, which I failed to do properly the first time, but then actually look at what I'm doing and do it properly. It then beeps and flashes blue twice. Then I hit Next, and it starts looking for the chime. I select it upon discovery, and it beeps at me to let me know I've been a good human. I even get a neato check. Tapping Next one final time, it asks me if I want to name the chime. I'm done naming things, so I just hit Finish. Then I tap Next one final time before it asks me how I'd prefer the power to be managed. I want to do some experimenting that requires power to be on more often, so I pick Optimal Surveillance Mode and tap Next one final time. I'm informed I'm done for the third time, and now I tap Start Using. It immediately wants me to set up the doorbell, which is what I thought I've just done, but apparently there's more to do. I'll enable push notifications in case it comes in handy with testing. There are a lot of fine-tuning settings here, but I'm just going to skim things for sake of time and patience. If you want images text to you, you'll need a Reolink cloud account, and of course it will send pictures to the servers to send to you. And there we are. It's a camera. It's a doorbell. It's a camera doorbell. The chimes have individual settings per chime device, and you can adjust the volume, which is quite nice. I know this is quite nice because I didn't know about it on my other doorbell for a few months. I inadvertently figured it out while moving it, and life has been a bit less jumpy ever since. Okay, so let's talk about specs. The highest resolution you are able to record at is 2048 by 2048. You get 15 frames per second and a maximum streaming bitrate of 4 megabits per second and a recording bitrate of 6.9 megabits per second. That's not great if you're trying to become a Twitch streamer, but it's probably fine for a doorbell camera. I know there are higher resolution doorbell cameras, Reolink even makes a couple, but I think this is fine for its price point and additional features. At the time of writing this video, the Reolink Video Doorbell, this 2K battery version, will run you just under $120. I was going to turn an electronics Jedi loose on this doorbell to see what kind of hardware was under the hood and check out security, but I canceled that plan in lieu of a new one, which I'll get to in a little bit. First, I want to show you some video I've taken, other than the intro to the video, including this motion-triggered clip of a rabbit. The motion detection seems to work very well and has fine adjustability, so that will help with things I have planned. It's not 4K video, and the compression makes parts of the very fabric of my existence quiver a little, but it does the job for what it is. And what it is may not be exactly clear. Another thing I discovered this camera had that absolutely tickled me is a configurable time-lapse mode. Again, it's not the greatest camera, but it's much more than just a camera, and it's more than just a doorbell, but I'm not ready to talk about that yet. I have 2 more things Reolink requested of me. The brief they gave me that I talked about earlier going over with you, and a QR code they want me to display for 5 seconds. This one. While this is up, why not like the video, subscribe to the channel, and maybe even consider joining as a member. There's also a really good Discord with a bunch of smart folks in it. Okay, let's dig into this brief. The brief is broken up into 4 parts: background and key message, content guides and ideas, Instagram and TikTok giveaway, and finally, content requirements. Best for last. Okay, the background reads as follows. Founded in 2009, Reolink is a leader in smart home security, offering innovative, reliable, and user-friendly solutions. For 17 years, Reolink has empowered homeowners to protect what matters most with cutting-edge security systems. To celebrate our 17th anniversary, we invite you to join us in creating content for this special occasion. Let's work together to engage more users and shape the future of home security. Before I move on to the key message points, I want to go ahead and beef this first bit up a little bit for my viewers. Founded in 2009 by CEO Colin Lau, Reolink, or Shenzhen Reolink Technology Company Limited as it's known on the streets, was previously operating under the company name Shenzhen Baochuan Security Technology Company. From 2009 to 2022, Reolink reported 86.6% compound company growth and, as of 2025, has distribution infrastructure in 110 countries. Well done them. After the fiasco surrounding the high silicon chips used by Huawei, Dahua, and friends, subsequently leading them to be banned under the NDAA, or U.S. National Defense Authorization Act, Reolink sought to distance themselves from the bad publicity and lean into DIY-friendlier, local-only capable firmware. While a few models lingered in their offerings containing the offending chips, the company quickly eliminated those devices, at least as best they could, and stated that they were absolutely NDAA compliant. They also employed the help of an ex-Huawei IP counselor named Dongfang Shen to help shape up their intellectual property protocols, acquisition, and management. Right now, Reolink stands out to a lot of people, myself included, as a company worth sourcing offline-capable devices, though I will always still take precautions when it comes to internet connectivity. The next bit in the brief just goes over the 17th anniversary sale from May 18th to June 14th. Some stuff is up to 50% off, and you can apparently use my code, SmarterCircuits5, and pay with PayPal to get an additional 8% off. Though, I guess that's neato. I'm supposed to use some hashtags, so those will be somewhere, and they'd like me to plaster purchase links all over. Affiliate, of course, though I don't know how I get paid, so I probably don't. They want a link at the top of the description, which I guess is okay, but it makes the summary look crummy. They also want a link in a pinned comment, so I'll do that too, probably. And they want me to do the QR code thing, which I did earlier, but here it is again for good measure. Okay, that's it for the first section. I'm feeling pretty good about it. How about you? The next section is the content guide. There are 4 key points in the content guide. The first is for dedicated content, which I suppose is what this is. They want me to make sure Reolink and the product name are both in the title and thumbnail. Check. They also want me to place integration within the first half of the video. Check again. The third item is highlight the value of each and every product on the list, focus on the benefit to the customer, and mention specific details of the offer. Well, I did that last bit already, so I suppose I should point out the benefits to the customer. It's a doorbell with a camera and a microphone and a battery. There are more benefits, but they're more related to the things I want to do later, so I'll talk about them here in a little bit. The fourth item is just referencing the giveaway section in a convoluted and confusing way, so I'll just skip that and go over the giveaway when we get there. Okay, we're here. The Reolink 17th anniversary giveaway apparently works like this. Follow me or Reolink's Instagram or TikTok accounts, which I do technically have, but I'm not super good at posting often. Then comment your favorite Reolink camera and tag a friend. They're going to run the giveaway for 7 days. I'm not entirely sure which days those are, but they're probably before June 14th. The third section of the brief is content ideas. The first is Save More, Upgrade Smarter with Reolink, a title or tagline that strikes me as being a little linguistically impotent, but that's not really a fair criticism of the product or Reolink. I blame marketing people for the inability for a company to say, hey, our product isn't built like the Taj Mahal, but we're cheaper and dependable enough for you. It says I should share how Reolink has helped keep my home safe over the years. I don't live in a particularly dangerous area or even one that sees much crime. At least not any crime that doesn't get you quietly arrested on the golf course while you insist to the group that you have no idea what fraudulent documents they could possibly be talking about. And driveway cameras won't protect me, my retirement, or anyone's grandparents or grandchildren from those folks. That's not to say my Reolink cameras haven't been useful. That they have been. I get neat animal and weather footage from the cameras I have, as well as being able to just check and make sure the place is still standing when we're away for a while. The rest of the content ideas section is more or less just like this. It's a bit campy and stale for real human dialogue. Dialogue that you could trust. There's a section not mentioned above labeled Optional Demonstration. They'd like you to know that Reolink's app can help you control your devices from your phone anywhere, and they want me to tell you how much I monitor everything and obsess over security. Well, I don't monitor everything or obsess over security. I monitor what's practical to monitor from time to time, and that's it. The last talking point of the optional demo section is seamless connectivity to your smart home. While I can't really demonstrate this because it's been set up for a very long time, getting my Home Assistant to talk to the camera was as easy as finding a new device on the Devices and Services page. The last section in the brief is the Content Requirements list, which has 3 items. Please show the beneficial features of your Reolink as much as you can. I think I've covered that for the most part. The follow-up with this device after we've been on the road should be even better, but I think we're pretty much covered here. Please avoid sensitive issues in your content, including religion, gender, politics, and the sort. That's too bad. I was planning on pitching my new cult of the Hermaphropublicratic Order, but I guess I'll have to save that for later. Lastly, they'd like to have a pre-release review of the video 3 days prior to its publishing. That's not a problem. By the time you've seen this, Reolink has already seen it. It wouldn't make a lick of difference whether or not I publish the video, but they've seen it. With that out of the way, now I want to talk about what this is. I mean, it's a doorbell with a camera in it. Well, wait, no, that's not right. It's a camera with a doorbell in it. But beyond that, it's an outdoor day or night motion-activated camera with two-way communications and a call button. Now, Reolink makes trail cameras and the like, but they sent me this, and I think I want to explore all the possible ways I might use it while we're out on our adventures. I plan to use the time-lapse, the feature no camera should be without if possible, and I plan to use motion sensing and alerting for a few different things like watching what happens on the roof of our trailer out in the woods when it sounds like the squirrels are having a rave. Anyway, I'll be playing with this thing quite a bit. If you like this video, let me know in the comments or do the thing with the thumb, maybe even subscribe. I hope you'll join me for the follow-up video later in the season or any other upcoming videos as I continue to explore smarter circuits.